Pretty fish, dangerous reptiles, and even cute tiger cubs.
Do you know what all these animals have in common? They're being kept as pets in European homes.
In the European Union as well, there's a strong hobbyist culture, particularly for reptiles, birds, amphibians and aquarium species. The EU, generally speaking, has quite a high purchasing power. It has a single market. It's one of the largest single markets, and this kind of equates to a strong demand for the pet trade. Online platforms have also made this kind of cross-border sale within the EU and globally also much easier.
Altogether, it makes the exotic pet trade one of the EU's biggest wildlife trade sectors. The problem? Not every animal gets here legally, and it can involve a lot of suffering. The interest in keeping exotic pets at home or collecting them has led to a vast global trade in thousands of species. In the EU, the main destination countries for both legal and illegal trade of exotic animals are France, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Germany, in fact, has one of the largest markets for reptiles and amphibians in Europe. But the EU isn't just a destination. Its big airports and ports also serve as key transit points for trade that goes from Latin America to the Middle East and Asia, or from Africa to Asia.
So most of this trade is actually legal, but wildlife trafficking does represent a major problem.
In some cases, threatened animals get taken from their habitats and travel concealed in luggage by plane or in shipments across the globe.
The species are often kept in, containers for a significant period of time. They're not fed and watered properly, kept in, quite a small proximity to one another as well. So there is a high mortality rate as well for the transport of live specimens.
But how do you know if trading an animal is legal or not? That depends on a few things. First, its classification according to CITES. This is the main international framework for protecting wildlife by regulating trade.
It gets implemented by national laws and divides protected animal species into 3 categories. Appendix 1. No commercial trade in wild animals of these species is allowed. That's the case, for example, for most pangolin species. In Appendix 2, species trade is allowed but is controlled in order to avoid overexploitation. The European eel is one such species. Appendix 3 includes species that are protected at the level of a specific country and for which trade is permitted, but it has to be approved by the country first. Secondly, not every exotic fish or iguana on the market is seized directly from its respective ocean or forest. Some are also sold from captive breeding programs.
But here's the thing. For a lot of exotic pets, it's actually difficult to know whether they were caught in the wild or bred in captivity. CITES permits can be faked, and sometimes animals that were caught in the wild get declared as captivity bred. And some experts warn that animals from captivity are not a solution.
So when we talk about exotic pets, usually we talk about animals that are wild by nature. So whether they have been captured from the wild or bred in captivity, inherently they have wild, and they have not evolved to live in our living rooms or in our backyards.
Police operations and customs controls regularly seize wild animals across Europe. The NGO Trafficking recorded 3,500 live animals across thousands of seizures that were likely destined for the pet trade in the EU in 2023. They make up 28% of all wildlife seizures. But enforcement in the EU is not easy.
The situation with the exotic pet trade in the EU is messy. It's a patchwork of regulations, which means that in some member states, you can keep certain animals as a pet and you can breed them and trade them, whereas in a neighboring state, this is not allowed. And a good example is Germany and the Netherlands. In Germany, you can keep monkeys and servals and other types of animals, whereas in the Netherlands, this is prohibited.
This not only makes things more complicated for law enforcement, but also for citizens. It's why some organizations like AAP are calling for an EU-wide positive list. This tool would inscribe all the species in which trade is allowed on a list common to all member states. Trade in all other species would automatically be prohibited. It would be a first step to better protect exotic wildlife in Europe.
We can sort of look at this, addressing this in three ways. One really important point is kind of clear and harmonised rules across the EU. Second is really strong enforcement, especially online, because online cybercrime has been boosted significantly over recent years, especially for the pet trade, but also increasing efforts to reduce consumer demand. That's really important as well.
So while it can be exciting to own rare or dangerous creatures from far away, the safest option for humans and animals alike may be to stick to more local pets.